Boneso etu efoma gudie no bomo na wo twimienu omo nsesa wo niam nyina emfiri hanye sa emra ene wo mo ebedi bidinde abena chei boache Africa se no enchemu enchei bia ena mente me ho ase ene ntokwa bi esi wo appointment committee ema ntokwa bebre asuefo ene mahebedwomfo ebisi ebiemia ebi ntohwere ebise enye ne sa enam so ema mahebedwom ba no deni ete eya badwukuo bi se wo mo enye hwehwemu na ekwa enimu na ena opanyini esade ba so mo do mo nsiso wo mo teduemu na won hwehwe niam mu kakra sabrei wo mo asaji wo madwa atena se a wo mo ebisebisemu ehwe de kofa sa mente me ho ase ne ntokwa ma niam na ejapade ese ye sabrei honorable akando ene yetedwem a wo mo etoto na no nti yeda ye ho ne akosede ano toto na esiko.
I, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa.
Swear by the Almighty God.
Swear by the Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
Touching the matter in issue.
Touching the matter in issue.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
Abusia for 80 said ya no toto di siko se CA na honorable Akando omode na no toto no ekwa wie sabre ya ide honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa wono ena aso ne Bible mu a wo swan se nukure do ena ode ebetu denti ye kọ ne ahwe se de na no toto no so ebesi akọ.
So the video, would you like to watch the video again to identify whether you were here on that fateful day?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I was here and I recall exactly what happened.
So can you tell this
committee?
committee?
Proceed without the video.
Thank you. Can you tell this committee what really happened on the 30th of January when you were supposed to be vetted?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, before narrating what I witnessed on that day, I would like to read to you two letters I received from the Appointments Committee inviting me to appear before the Appointments Committee. I believe this will establish the basis for me attending upon the committee on that day. My entry into the Appointments Committee room has generated some controversy. I have heard the minority leader and some members of the MPP suggest that I was smuggled in and that I and my guests, including my wife, had no business showing up on that day. Indeed, when I appeared before the Appointments Committee to be vetted, I raised the issue and the chairman of the committee and the minority leader apologized to me for that press conference and that unfortunate narrative they had put out there, suggesting that I was trying to force myself onto the committee when I had not been invited. So I think that it is absolutely essential that I read these invitation letters, and then I'm willing to also make copies available to your committee so that you can have that in your report.
Go ahead and then make copies available to our clerk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, this invitation letter is dated the 22nd of January 2025, addressed to the Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Member of Parliament, Parliament House, Accra, and it reads, Dear Sir, invitation to attend upon the Appointments Committee. The Appointments Committee wishes to extend its warmest congratulations to you on your The Appointments Committee wishes to extend its warmest congratulations to you on your nomination as Minister Designate for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Pursuant to Standing Order 217, I am directed by the Chairman of the Committee to kindly invite you to attend upon the Appointments Committee on the 30th of January 2025 at 12:30. at Committee Rooms 1 and 2 of the Administration Block, Parliament House, Accra. You are kindly requested to submit copies of your curriculum vitae with your signature on each page and tax clearance certificate from the Ghana Revenue Authority to the Secretariat of the Appointments Committee on the second floor, job 600. And it goes on because of time to give the email address of Parliament and all of that. So I just want to, because of time, go quickly to the last two paragraphs. You are further requested to provide the names of 10 guests who will be present to witness your vetting. You may contact the Secretariat of the committee on 0244. Two numbers are provided because these are open hearings. I don't have the permission of these phone owners to put out their numbers. And then it says that contact these numbers for further clarification. Yours faithfully. And this invitation letter is signed by Mrs. Gifty Jiage Goba, the clerk to the Appointments Committee. Mr. Chairman and respected members of the committee, attached to this invitation letter is this other correspondence I received, which has the heading 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, coverage of proceedings of the Appointments Committee, schedule for vetting of nominees, Thursday, 30th January 2025. And the names are provided as follows. Nominees: Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpo, MP, Minister Designate, Ministry of Labor, Jobs and Employment. 8 a.m. is the time provided. Then, Honorable Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, Minister Designate, Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. 9 a.m. Samuel Nate George is a third name here. MP, Minister Designate, Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations. 10 a.m. The Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, Minister Designate, Ministry of Sports and Recreation. 11 a.m. Then there is lunch break at 12 noon. Then I was to come immediately after the lunch break. It's here. Fifth nominee, Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Minister Designate, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 12:30. So they were anticipating that they'll have a 30-minute lunch, and then I will be vetted at 12:30. There are three other names after me, if you don't mind. The Honorable Joseph Bukari Nikpe, MP, Minister Designate, Ministry of Transport, 1:30 p.m. The Honorable Isifu Seidu, MP, Minister of State, Climate Change and Sustainability, 2:30 p.m. And the final name for that day, the 30th of January, is Mrs. Charity Gardiner, Minister Designate, Ahafu Region, 3:30 p.m. So this was attached. 8 nominees were supposed to appear on that day. So I want to state for the record that I was not smuggled in. I was asked to be present here with my guests for a session at 12:30 p.m. to be vetted. And we waited and waited and waited until I was prompted at about 8 p.m. thereabout that
just a clarification.
I can now come in.
Clarification. You mentioned 2 letters. Is it the attachment that is the second one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please. So it's the attachment I referred to. So I want to state for the record that it is based on this invitation letter that I duly composed the delegation, which included paramount chiefs from the North Tongue traditional area, chiefs from Anglo, where I also hail from both Anglo and Tong, as chairman, you know. Then the Tepahine, the paramount chief of the Tepa traditional area in the Ashanti region. I've served as Imrantia Hine in Tepa for more than 12 years now. And so I have very strong, alliances with the good people of Tepa in the Ashanti region. They gladly joined me here, my dear wife, and the members of Oral, the Oral team I'm very proud of. I'm told that the reason why I'm coming under a lot of attacks and tribulation is because of Oral, but I remain proud of the work we are doing at Oral. So the Oral team members were here to support me. So that's really the delegation I composed. And I received prompting from the chief whip that we could now come in at about 8 p.m. So we were expecting that we will be vetted that evening, and that our chiefs and these eminent guests will be apologized to, that you asked us to come at 12:30, is 8 p.m. But to our surprise, we entered the room and we faced hostilities when particularly our colleagues on the minority side saw me entering with my delegation. They got very furious. What am I doing here? And they said they were not going to vet me. I was really taken aback. I was surprised that, I have your own invitation letter and you are saying that I'm not supposed to be coming in. Meanwhile, it's members of the committee, because we wait in a holding area, and then the chief whip came to beckon that we can now come to be vetted. So when I came in, the Honorable Akando was just about to take his turn. He was about to be sworn in, and I was ushered on the third seat here on my left to wait my turn, so that after Honorable Akando, I will be vetted. And then the whole hostilities began, and the degeneration into violence, what clearly was despicable. We were traumatized, and I was really embarrassed as a member of parliament, because I recall paramount chiefs asking me, is that what you people do here? What's the meaning of that? I mean, and there was one chief who told me he even feared for his life. So some of them had to, quickly just escape, because they didn't know if the violence, the way tables were being carried, and destruction going on, if some of these tables and microphones, PA systems that were being destroyed could be thrown at them. So some had to.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na kache no mampanyini egu na seda aproboso no mfimfi mantemu eho eno ne nananom atrankonya ene asofo dom ehyiaye ene ode to wo manim se eba no yare koranko a eyade a etete oh my Ghana adehye ebi no manu nti sabre wode niema egu akwanmu a wode ba beda eye Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund dodo na enim se ye no Mahama Care no said ebeya ebema wo san yarewa ebi te se wo sabo wo akoma ho haw eye mujamroso ene wo eliver eho ensem ebeti wo komu ebre ene sika dodo na aye ne eka wo ebo nti sabre die enche bia wo ba beda sa dwumedie no edi.
In healthcare, we will continue to improve our hospitals and continue to improve all levels of our healthcare system. We are going to uncap the National Health Insurance Scheme levy so that the full amount of the levy goes to the National Health Insurance Authority so that they can pay facilities for the treatment that is given to people holding National Health Insurance card. We'll prioritize healthcare, and I'll launch a Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund, popularly called Mahama Cares, to assist individuals with chronic diseases like kidney, liver disease, high blood pressure, cardiac problems. And so this Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund would assist to alleviate the cost of treatment.
Abuja for sabre yesan dan ye ho na yakọ eya bedeku a wo mo hwehwe sa mentime ho ase pinchen asabre ya onobu samyo kujeto ablakwati adwom ayetoto na no yenko hwe se de esiko.
Okay, continue.
I was just about to respond to those who have said that, oh, it was getting late and that I and my guests could probably have just gone home and could not have, and probably we should not have responded to the invitation when the chief whip said we can now enter the room pursuant to the invitation letter that we have received. And for those who say that, I want to remind them of the enormous powers that committees of parliament have under the constitution. I want to, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, read Article 103. I could have really been in serious trouble if, following this invitation letter, I decided on my own that because it's probably getting late, I would not enter the room when I have been asked to appear. Article 103(1) of the Constitution provides, Parliament shall appoint standing committees and other committees as may be necessary for the effective discharge of its functions. 6 then says, a committee appointed under this article shall have the powers, rights, and privileges of the High Court or a justice of the High Court at a trial for A, enforcing the attendance of witnesses and examining them on oath, affirmation, or otherwise. B, compelling the production of documents. And C, issuing a commission or
Abuja for yeto akase no so na sabre ye kwakopie mu ewo mrache bedwam fie na domkuma ba no deni Honorable Alexander Fenyomakin wo ka asembi ho ye nyina yenkone yenkohwe bi.
In October 2024, when there was this impasse on vacant seats, he openly to the media threatened to beat the majority then. That if they come and sit on our seat, we'll beat them. Quote him. This is what he said. Is it the same person who today is pursuing a high moral, high standard? Mr. Speaker, it is important. Mr. Speaker, please, it is within my right, far right, to make the point. Please permit me. Mr. Speaker, I've restrained myself.
Honorable Minority Leader,
the practice
so long as it's within
Mr.
your
Speaker,
rights.
Conclude.
Honorable,
Mr. Speaker, let me conclude.
Very well, conclude.
Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. But respectfully, I think the posture of this House since Tuesday has been that we should allow ourselves to be heard. Heckling is part of politics, but reckless heckling is not part of decent politics. The majority must know this. You must hear and have your opportunity to oppose me. You must hear me in silence and catch the eye of Mr. Speaker and rise gently from your seat and also make your point. That is the practice. This issue of shouting does not help. Mr. Speaker, I've made my point and I thank you.
Thank you very much. Majority, listen, please take note of the concern. I will proceed to have the business statement adopted. Please.
Mr. Speaker, when I raise the quorum issue, it is 35 minutes now, Mr. Speaker. It's 35 minutes now.
Subject to limiting your comment to the business statement.
Article 102, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
Mr. Speaker, I drew your attention to Article 102 of the Constitution that we don't have quorum to commence business. Mr. Speaker, it has been 40 minutes now. 40 minutes now. 40 minutes now. And Mr. Speaker, you must enforce the Constitution. You are a lawyer by all standards. 22 years at the bar. You shouldn't be invited into this. It's a constitutional matter. It's a constitutional matter, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the business statement as presented is hereby adopted.
Mr. Speaker, you must enforce the Constitution. You must be able to uphold. And Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, up to now, we are not up to 92, 93 to commence business. We are not up to, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, you must adjourn the House now because we don't have the number. You have to adjourn the House now. We don't have the number. You must adjourn the House now, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I intend to adjourn the House, but before doing so, just permit me to acknowledge the presence of our dear students from Boso Senior High School visiting the house. They were led by Isaac Yabua, Gideon Anson.
Yatwakase no eso Deputy General Secretary Emma National Democratic Congress Orua Mustafa Foyo Bandena ne obepie mu mpunimpu ade chensroma so. Eho no panyidi tu dwa se His Excellency John Dramani Mahama enya de se wo betimi ama obia wo wa indisi amayuko mu position anase dibea. Ewo mu se wo bobo asofo no edin de wo se over 70,000 applicants and a day wo mo ayaba se wo mo di nanso want to me emma wo bia dibre enka epo nebusuafo eho sei na wo chirem.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama cannot even satisfy his own family members when it comes to appointment.
Now, is he expecting so money?
He cannot satisfy anybody. I'm telling you. So the idea mami ebi anam so me bibi. But we know man penyin sa me de bema. Opa menye. Number 2. Party there who we need power. Ni e position e bi benya. E bi nso enya.
But a bit more no more very strong to say Isaac Adongo. Na ye hwe say anya hwe die. Na me strong. Finance ministry be deputy. Mustafa we strong. Me ka say we strong when you be. But
afa na menya bi.
But say you when you be.
Obia de beba. We are talking about over 100,000 competent people.
Okay.
Look at the new breed of youths that have come.
Okay.
Look at the ones that were ministers in 2016. Those that were ministers in 2012, 2014, I said, 2012.
Okay.
But he has to share 7,000 appointments. He will offend people. Who share your DC appointments are your poor. Who call baby and Crawford 2030 epe DC position there back. At the time you were applying. So nimza nyanya onko na opre.
Okay.
But yam fan koma MPP ni. Ebia DC no nya nanso besa nya bebe fufu adan e de ho akwhye. Aprapre bi ene but enkrofo ho be hyehye wo mo nua anya adeketo o ye mo odin a wo yem hyehye a hyehye no.
Nti wo yem odin na wo yem hyehye.
Me. Say I'm a very strong character.
Okay. But still said now yeah Jumano.
I didn't work for President Mahama for him to compensate me with appointment.
But you worked for your party to come.
I worked for my party to come to power. And se Mustafa anya appointment at least sabe akromfui kapamuom.
Yegusua ejina Orua Mustafa honoma bio na wosan kasa no e na osan di tu dwa se wo bepie mu ewo New Patriotic Party e osono amayuku honoma wo se wo mo aban a wo baaye no eye korono e no mo beboye wo mo bewie a wo man Ghana pa wo se taxpayers money no e no mo ba bewie wo se wo share asuyeye e bi te se Metro Mass Ghana Gas wo se korono wo se ni nyina ka ho bi e na afia bato a ye ko ya na se afia twa mu no enkugu poto na e koma wo mo no ni nyina ye korono ni nti na Ghana fo ansan fatumi ama wo
Metro Mass nkoko Metro Mass ya da ho omulusu ya na enkrofo ewuram eno de wontimi kra nka se ye MPP ni anase obi na ye okromfo bi na ye
okay
ni wo mu twitwa Metro Mass buses na ho no eton ni ekodi boni ya yemfa party atade enko ho ni enim ni se na nipa na edi bone ye mrante ne ko stop e wo mo Ghana Gas die oni me ne wonti krom ha enu owusu ben party Ghana Gas no de ada na MPP headquarters nu wo sopa Ghana Gas mpenifo enu wo sopa Ghana Gas adwumayefo enu wo sopa President Mahama enti wu fi se na ye wini power ya nya hwe kwa na nya owusu ben pasa ayiwe emane ntra ho yenim. And so some of the things enya afa ni e be ka se ye dwane afiri mu they know. Number 4.
Na eye sapana ye twa no kakra
uko portwa ECG 4 kra niema containers edby MPP lusu election na port mpanyifo no
any custom for our more. And no more makwana containers no ko. I have to stop about 12 of the containers. ECG near Mau. Nyamika you Kotama police station woman. Now the lose election tea. We also mean cause NDC ni babunua or no dear or stopping near mano. Wakoye bibi krana 1% and cam remua. Yankasi animal. That we won't say that. Gold I got chain on and say police in fine. When I make a child say gold I got chain on a airport saying.
And one said she oh dear Kawasem.
Gold, so gold no. Aye. Ya cheat gold no pet.
Why shall phone see Miss CC?
Ya cheat gold in the pet. And ya dema police. Me na me fair police commander. Airport.
Okay.
No do ho. Odu ho na me no penyi ya me nso e den. Ewo.
Okay.
Omo cheat gold no omo hande ma police for. And omo de call region. E ho na ye agreement. And ya de gold no call Bank of Ghana. Would you say that?
But no, communication by said there beside the Amoka.
Let me tell you. Let me MPP for penny for Ska and I say it as it is. If they want to push us, we'll begin those conversations. Ska one way of taking the money out of the country is too good. No more exporting good, no more just canabruch. We know all of this. Madam. We normal transaction and minister what we
gas and that's not where bill so I didn't put that so
and I'm telling you sir gold no gold I want to say after no quite I say or say you know Emirates flight stickers na that's all.
I was your 4 year to Akasia no eso. Emma Shabajamni, our work we are Pim North, a honorable Samuel, a Wukuna Sabri. What they are to a bayan incessor, a set or more 8 million such a bano National Lottery Authority. Womo Shisha was any pedinum and I'm comboneso edi omuju maybe. Enti kaba pote sese eba aban honomo enti me Emma hoisan se womusika womunya no ebi ene ye de ko eya adesua yemu ya pomudimu ene ye dada asetene mu enti sabere sese aban ene mrahye bedwamfie omutimi eye bibia omode be sakra eye Ghana mamra na ebo sa adwumayi ehobodi semi tuja ewo mrahye bedwamfie.
To say we over 63 years a day and lottery a buy. Will be within the last 33 years a war Australia and raise over 2 billion euros. Na a banner so there. Not just a no ya catch. Tidana yes a nay sikani ho. Kakrana in your fee baby and see a body chitre or minor. And Nuntia the National Lotto Act a year a yamra and a lady dijumano. And Kawamon share. Na enka yenu hawa aban betimi ame asakre mu na ne akase sebio okay enele afiwe mu sika mu benya no mo fancy bi 500 boreholes across the country tie no betimi measure enele by that allocation and project enele ebia community and constituency by constituency afiwe mu munsi public toilets ebia be 10. No members of parliament can also say near NLE be wo me constituency because in Pempino because as you twani endia isika ne coin and all over the world no very few people win lottery every day e one and ye be win kese but brano no organization ne win ntinipa na win here no wetin don such as a goes to support public good and our good causes and na make us NLE so far omhunjim na ye mo so to help fight illegal lottery and NLE makes just about 300 million a year but time the illegal operators make you almost 600 million. Nti omon shaba nas amra na nchechiro e make more than the state own. Nti aban mo NLE for no na ye na no sadan sayem yetimi emwa na once we are clearing the illegal for no mo ye na legal no e say mo incentive bi a ebema na ya akono se odno de emra na eda ho no de ye adwuma yi ena na America say oh tax incentives ne ade a okay mo ma fa nipa up to this number mo dimra na so bia say renewal license fee mpo kwa no be to the following year it means share some ma apply by the rules na case okay ya test one amount and as we say it serves as an incentive then some more me dey to dwa but sha afan na ye minority and majority side na many of the MPs also contributed to the statement.
I think this is an important statement. We can't just comment about it and just let go. And particularly to the fact that it is going to help the country's raising of IGF revenue that we can raise to help the government to prosecute all the good things you have promised. So to that end, I would pray you to make some consequential directive relative to the statement that our colleague made. For us to pry further into it and appropriate it in a manner that can add on to the revenue that we can generate as a nation. I once again want to commend the Honorable Sami Oku for the good statement put out.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, in addition to the orthodox lottery system that we know, the online lottery system is fast catching up with the people who patronize it. Mr. Speaker, he was able to give some statistics to back the essence of making the statement on the floor. And indeed, it's founded. We are a government seeking to enlarge our revenue sources, and the online is a very veritable one. Indeed.
Enche bia na mrasebejamni ewa santi achim agogo honorable OK Frimpong edi yankase kasa ewo mrasebejamfie na eno enenam so ma senior lecturer in public management and community economic development Dr. Patrick Tando Offen and so ade ato mrasebejamfo se enim se modern na ye twi kasa na se local dialect no yenka ewo mrasebejamfie san se nipa dodo a womu si womanemu ewo mrasebejamfie womu pesua so no dodo na ye kasa yi eno mote ase enti se wode ye kasa no ekire womadwen anase eka womu haw bi ewo ho no mo te ase se womu haw eda wakoma so sei eno kire mo
MP4 no omo represent constituency omo ye Ghana for there nanso so omani achichemu nkumankuma enti womo wo sa na nempeso aso no omo ye die enti titru enti no abeduru bebia wabeduru no enti se wahu se me manfo no me kwe makachom se me de me kwa de e ka wo bia no memma mo atiase na oye ne sa se ya man 5 minutes or the 3 minutes e ka brofo no the 2 minutes e kire mo ni krom kasema because fi se enye de besi wo bia no betimi akọ ni krom asan akọ cheche machrom sezi FM radio TV na obabia mo so mo de simoni so se mo ba ma omanfo ati de ekoso enti radio e woni krom FM e woni krom no omo ti se waka ni krom kasa eye enkranhye kese ma ni krom fo enti media mi gidi se ya depa ese se ye bo MP4 na omo ahya se yesa na baso na omunua no maka no so omo ntimi nya sa na mbo ama omanfo nti omodwuma ase because yem bebre wo ho a yewo yenti omodwuma di omodi ase entokwa nketenkete omokono bi wo ho a yenti ase enti yefose bia sabi omo semre anan man so bia na omodwuma no sa na sese omo yo omodwuma no sa nkomo ntokwa nketenkete no omokono ebo amadwuma ndo ye no ekoso na se oka o ni krom kasa no na ni krom 40 de enti a entokwa na ba ana de enti o kasa ni party nko baabi ana momo nko baabi na kyese waboa oman ni nyina enti eno kra beboa ma obi a okugina baabi no etese krom ho kasa no otumiti ase so because a representation or represent oman for no that's one take kasa e koso o krom a Ne we then what represent him. Just what think I now come brofo. Be as a bro sir. Enti me chidi say yen encourage saa de no. O kan de ma aye den say o kan wo brofum anaso o kan wo ne krum kasem no. No san kan wo brofum. Emma obia sana Hansard any Clark for no on betimi a record.
Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, Sabri, womo di ato womo sister union no enim se wosere womo makoma ento womo yem. Esa se Sabri womo ni abrese yato eye fan womo. Enti se ahyenti die se nso sika no ese yatom no womo se enye se wo fiti prekope no watom ese se woni mpanyimfo any ministers any stakeholders etwetwe nkomo ansana sa increment no etimi akoso enti womo panyini pa wuli e di ato womo nim se wosere womo makoma ento mu no mpanyimfo so ekasa
am say da okoda ne hu say in regional executive no the statement about monte say omo to law film about 25%. You wom say say transport no ye de mra na ye adwuma ye ne yetie mu bia no obetima ka say wo FGP ati no ba concern e ku no kakran na ye de ni the transport operators were your concern were papa GP ati for say baby adru no baby adru no yesra wom ye pa wom chew em say ye papa na do buy no ye man about 6 months as an year to love him that time na petrol no 1 liter no ye service 3 cedi 70 pesos e ko 9 cedi answer na ye to say me no ka say e wom say petrol no e ko about 16 cedi 20 pesos umumu about 18%.
Ajafo ye to akase no so sesiye yi eye domkom omo womrahye badwam womo ye nsemtrefo enhie mo madaroma ye na ye ho de enko ne kutie de omo woka.
So we will take us through some other issues, and after that, if there are any concern or questions, then you can be able to raise. Honorable Animedu, if they don't have the numbers, it's a constitutional matter. If they don't have the numbers, it is stated in the Constitution in Article 102 that you need to have 91 for you to commence business. That is the quorum to commence business. When it comes to decision, you need to have at least 138 or 139 to take a decision. If we observe that they don't have the matter, that means that they are not ready to do any business. It will not be our call. So I will now invite Honorable Anyimedu to take us through the rest.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the media. The Minority Caucus finds it imperative to engage with the press to clarify our principled decision not to proceed with the ongoing committee proceedings. This decision is based on our unwavering commitment to ensuring the integrity, impartiality, and credibility of the investigative process. On Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, I overheard the Speaker of Parliament explicitly stating that the ad hoc committee should continue to work and submit its recommendations to the House for further deliberation and decision-making. Additionally, we recall the Speaker's firm, decisive directive that the proceedings of the committee should not be conducted in public. The Minority Caucus concurs with this position, recognizing that public hearings in matters like this would compromise the effectiveness and efficiency of the investigative process. I'll give you an example. For instance, on Tuesday when we are sat, all the witnesses were together, and then we'll call them one by one, and each witness would speak to the hearing of all. This is not done, but we needed to do that because it was a public hearing. Because if the person should get to the next office, the person can even look at it on his phone. And we think this is not right. In the light of the foregoing, the Minority Caucus formally rescues itself, and we say that immediately the Speaker must reconstitute this committee by substituting the chairman, removing the chairman, Honorable Emmanuel Bejra, MP and chair of the ad hoc committee investigating the allegations of disorderly conduct during the vetting of ministerial nominees in the 9th Parliament. The petition, this decision is taken by the entire caucus, and amongst other things, will raise the issues of bias, prejudice, witness tampering, and conflict of interest on the part of Honorable Bejra, which fundamentally undermines the credibility of the committee's work. Number one, issues of bias. On January 5, 2025, in widely broadcast media interviews, Honorable Bejra made prejudicial statements alleging that the minority leader was actively conspiring to derail the committee's work through illicit means. I take that again. On January 5, in widely broadcast media interviews, Honorable Bejra made prejudicial statements alleging that the minority leader was actively conspiring to derail the committee's work through illicit means. He stated, amongst others, as follows, quote, "The minority leader instructed the clerk to halt the committee's work. He does not want the hearings to continue," end of quotation. These remarks prematurely ascribe guilt to the minority and its leadership, eroding the fundamental tenets of fairness and due process. By making such pronouncements before the minority leader has even been given an opportunity to respond, Honorable Bejra, that is the chairman of the committee, has displayed clear lack of objectivity and an overt bias that disqualifies him from continuing in his role as the chair. Prejudice. In an interview aired on TV3 and other media houses on January 7, 2025, Honorable Bejra categorically stated that he had identified culprits within the minority caucus who were responsible for disorderly conduct and would proceed to draft a negative report against them should they refuse to appear before the committee. These comments are a blatant violation of the principles of impartiality and fairness. The role of the chair is to facilitate the impartial inquiry, not to prejudice or to prejudge or assume guilt before the accused had been given an opportunity to present their defense. By declaring individuals culpable before they have even appeared before the committee, the chairman, Honorable Bejra, has demonstrated an unacceptable level of prejudice, rendering him unfit to continue in his role. I'll touch on the issue of witness tampering. During the same January 7 interview, Bejra admitted to engaging in private conversation with potential witnesses before their former appearances before the committee. Such conduct constitutes improper interference and potential witness tampering, as it suggests an attempt to shape testimonies in a manner that could compromise the integrity of the investigation. All engagements with witnesses must be conducted transparently and strictly through official parliamentary clerks to ensure impartiality. The chairman's action in this regard significantly underpin the credibility of investigative process and provide further justification for his removal as the chairman. Conflict of interest. Honorable Bejrada, as the chairman, has a well-documented history of advocating for chaos and disorder in our parliamentary proceedings. In multiple media appearances somewhere in October 2024, during the 8th Parliament regarding MPs declared to have vacated their seats, he publicly encouraged disruptive behavior on the parliamentary floor. His prior endorsement of disorderly conduct is in direct conflict with the responsibilities entrusted to him in this investigation. Given his publicly stated positions, he lacks the neutrality required to oversee a fair and balanced inquiry into the very conduct he has previously condoned. The clear conflict of interest further disqualifies him from chairing the committee. Amongst other things, he was quoted to have said that if anybody ventures or takes his seat, he was going to be the person. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the gravity of this matter necessitates the appointment of an impartial and untainted chair who commands the trust of all stakeholders, including witnesses, members of parliament, and the general public. The minority strongly urges the immediate replacement of Honorable Emmanuel Bejra to restore credibility to the committee's work. Only through a fair, unbiased, and transparent process can we ensure that the findings of the committee are accepted and its recommendations duly implemented. We trust that the necessary steps will be taken to uphold the integrity of this important parliamentary inquiry. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yesterday we had members.
Abusafo enti se wobepie mu e wo mrahye mu a domkuma ai wo ho no mo no ma yensemchofo enhie mu omo se eba ad hoc committee na ye otitire a woda committee ye no wo yenyi mu enti sabri wo omo enyi na emfiri ho no mo enti opanyino kasa ye honorable Kwame Medu entwi wo no e na wobepie mu Asante Achem Central on the Yemashebedem ni ewo honom. Enti ejina ensemi so ne ahome premo kase no so ye ba. Menye be ma David Oforisafo Bongo difara wo de agudie mu nsembeto aso nko ba bia ye beba sesia.
Thank God it's Friday. Friday's edition of UTV Sports. Yeretwa Kasebonso Amamo. Abusafo Sonfo David. Ofori Safo Bongo Difara. Namden Semono Eba. Felesa Eba no Dawson. Semwa Eba no Dawson. Media Seda Emma. Grosser Ventures. Grosser grosser. Efie de bia mentadia me hye eye Grosser Ventures ene pama me on de hye me wie no on se koyie pa we okọ executive meeting bia na o sha udu a na obeje fans no me pa cho bia pese opam atade hye se wo pam e de aye wedding engagement ena wo kọ ayie na wo kọ party bia nyuma kwa udu mpese mo pam mo Friday wesa mo mfa ma Grosser Ventures Miss Grace Safubodu na ompamao maame no minim said ne ho ofe no saa na ntade opam nyina efe Dakuman Avenue Crown Palace Hotel chipe and a Grosser Ventures owo adepam nia odini boshe so okase brane obekona tade I ready the number is 0244 250 420 0244 250 420 na ne Grosser Ventures edin sauso ebso ehyasia na ye bastudio aba bedin komo Ghana ye bobo ne fapem eye grassroots football yen course yen academies ye third division second division and to some extent ye first division Michael say mu nyina course football ene nyamu like Kingston, Sulemuntari, John Mensa, Samuel Jamo, Oma Kika Hunjina, John Mensa, Womina, na ye course. And na ye course, good. A dear nebeye, ama ye grassroots ball, assign apeja bimu. Mensa campaign phobia, me number to trace angomoin. Mensaka openia ye freno, Zakaria Kobina, or a football administrator, or your beer or in a sick football mupa. Yanimba bedi enkomo ana fei miami nwan Regan Fianco oye sports journalist Zentrejmen aye achepa the great Zach Moose chama akwaba
boko mo ya dia
oh radiadom Regan
Bongo
good afternoon yo mama sha sem fam free hono wo yan Zentroni sports adwin wa ya ache over 20 years experience your current stage Ewo Ghana grassroots football. What is saying? It is saying.
Ongo, your current state, and yeah, good to anything to write home about. Because if you recall that in those days now, yeah, grassroots football, and I say coach, ne other department, you know, now you're very effective, you know, and no na yenya players out to say what take it global stage, you know,
okay.
And I say continentally, you know, what me. Emma Ghana EGD. But currently, what is happening now there? I think said the FA need to set up. Now what share and means what better revival your domestic game no. Anything apart from that, you know there, the game keeps sinking and where we find ourselves, you know, and yeah, at the Ayenika because Kaya, I quite remember one coach player here, the buzz in the country in those days are Ofi then Ladanso. Now power line.
Okay, power line FC.
Yes, power line. And no other person than Yapreko.
Okay.
And the Yapreko no Kokotoko. And I has Kofano. And a whole lot of issues. That was way back 1989.
Yeah, but course
Yapreko. So Bia Okai Asem no. It tells you that the level of court football then. And as Obeka recently, not too distant a future. Kofi Abanga.
Okay.
And also no yeah. Court football and I said in fact the first division or that's all.
Yeah.
No Kokotoko, no Kohas. And all these things tells you say in those days no now yeah grassroots football no they very solid. But look as if say academy no be mu kakra no. Emma look so focus. Ama and to me I'm buying because first no now be bought premiership game and I said then first division no you be bought under 20s. And every team be the under 20 beba.
Okay.
Yeah, ball game no. Now yeah log no. You better know the first no me and yeah whereby they don't demote anything but yeah they tested some of the boys the likes of Santrophy Aqua, Nomini Ade, Ezekiel Alamu, Joda Branum na fast system no and we look at the players we are talking about. Wow, what we do as they go using the Milo Championship and a boy and Otminya Asante Kotoko. Yes, there are a whole lot of people are what me fat grassroots no. But there no not attention no wo. It's me boy Ghana football.
All right.
And then no attention no knew so much. And the Ghana football no no one that say you're finding yourself in this mess and say until say the FA no no and I main person I say and as a main institution that's what me brainstorm no what trans na where your football no kwa I don't think we are going anywhere.
Okay, all right. Alaji Zagmus oyo bia wode usika wa hoode nyansa ewura coast football mo grassroots football second division third division e de na hye unkran ma utu sa na mo no na mfa so ba ekra na hunya e wo so
de hye me unkran ne se on se ball no yeso ye ball kakra
wa bobi pen
ma bobi pen emfiche de ya bobi me hu ne se ball no ya de a eboa youth no
okay
on say yenya futu ho because we training ground coach ne kire
okay
discipline
okay
enu na ebe ma ebe o ma me po be pe wase obeto buta ma o pepa be pe wase obeto buta ma no openi bi mpo okomedo obeto buta ma na obeto bibidi ama
okay
nti sa de ne bua emende life aye wo mu a fane say e ma me mu ne bi e papa mu ne bi but yentumi amfa ye ho ankobbo bad boys
okay
nti me hu say oh nyakopon aye ma adoma ena me so me mbua youth no ne wo mo so munya bebi engina
okay
say na openi kan grass football na ira kane na mu ncheni wo ho nto bia bobi ntanu peja ya football no ntemu say no ena me so de na metumi aye me ntumi nta parliament ne bi ntemu so mi kakra me wo no me ntumi from bo football
okay
enti ohun say nde me discuss bo footballer so me bu obi nko ade eno na ema me ne
na wa mu nya bibi wo
me de enije de say enije na
enije
keke ska de football do suka ko shema mba o sama aduane wo do suka onsa ko shema wontumi ndi wo so wontumi yi wonsa sa football ti
wow okay but area wo baby se Kasua Galilea Tuba brigade no talent wo no at the same place wo no at the same
menua hu say yempenimfo entu o mani nhwe grassroots amofo ni bobo talent wo ho but why na be hu o mo this will organize bibi ne boys wo ho mo bobo wo behwe ball e bopo bi se obitumi bi sasa and we inti Ghana fo mbe hu from national team e bia na ni na ayira ye packs ni na asa ayimfuna tonton sase ni na
ye den nyina sisi adan
den nyina sisi adan wo inti ye wo problem wo man mu ye ni asase bebe ye boys se obi asase so banda this e kopo obi so asase fo for ye ji inti a problem the boys no talent or say ye mpenimfo tu amani e de hwe mfiche bobo no coast teams no eni ye fene sen ye schools no ye schools no ehia pa kan na schools no bo match school any school we take project nkwala no
say dey
adisuan na ayira ayadisuan ko nto say ye dis ade no back enu kwa na betu aboa Ghana na aboa saa etutu asem ekoso no e say adwen no yam pepa adwen na adwen be for baby fufuro
okay now we have talent on mo ade na won timi fa bi nwura national teams and clubs akese mu
boys ni be tutu kwan na ke bi mu Brazil bi mu France bi mu Spain bi mu Africa countries boys menu mu numbers mu Kalusha mu omo dos omo ina akọ
okay
de ye boya o omo ina akọ de ye boya fiche boya ye boya sa we league na ma organize wo na omo bo na peja boys ni ko
na do abrochi
do
Spain
wow Brazil no do was
okay all right fiankome ma ho na ye nhwe ade na say ye so that your grassroots football e be send na so biem as a country and as a association FN dey na so me why in Centuni why you duma na che
bongo I'm expecting say FN no need to sit down na wo hu say grassroots football no ye no etumi boa yen. But currently, no, I say you focus ni hobby breed.
Blaster.
Yes, blaster no crampo say ajego. But say boys no be far through the ranks and sana we be do blaster proper. Into we be do hono no na definitely. They who say yes, we do ne peak. Well, I think say right now no, I reset Ghana sports no. FA no
Mampani so reset
Ghana.
The Ghana football sports here reset.
Oh, definitely. I no cry here reset no cry seeing other sectors of reset no. Wow, because and yet your best right to say African Cup of Nations be Yakobi. But when you look at the circumstance, I hear to me unqualified. Look at team like Niger. On any day, blast a bit to me Asheno. But once a while, it bit to me happen. Wow, but what share your sinking rate now? It tells you say your football no and yet so bad we need say you better say what should you do? Because domestic league yeah sure near said anko ama
to trust them to say
yes
hooliganism
enti that you know as a serious workshop near some of the old players like Polo Reverend Osekofi no money others now to say one day or game no what football administrators I want so they have been there na you solicited for ideas say baby a football na do no at least obakofo ntumi ye but that kind of arrogance say oh yankwa ye betuma ye no there it will go nowhere nti even crampo former FA chief no crampo ora battle no mo ne adesa warda so wo question no nyina ye frɛ won workshop no ye frɛ won nyina na mbisa say na ye pese ye game no wow because ye na sa I'm happy say minister no e can say Wobe try so wobe players no bibi kakra send ebe ya one Exodus no there nobody can take anything away from it will happen but the alarming rate say obi to me fi Ghana no akobo Niger
ebi kra ko Togo
now akọ Togo now akọ Tanzania it tells you say Nkoye because you can't tell me say Nigerian economy is better than that of Ghana
okay
so that
all right
we need to do a work.
Okay, Ora Zakaria Kobina was we chat to Zach Moose, the great Zach Moose. Yes. Ghana for show was we chat to community league o ye hun some kakrato.
Masame for support. Masame chat to ne say ye hia mwa, ye hia support. Ene ye me nko a o say aban odi ne ho jim na ye boa individual da wo ye football. Coast teams no. Wo hwa kane na hia for na ye football, wo mu ni sika o. Kanina polo mu o ina na ehia for na kita Ghana football omo no ma coast teams omo nya hwe ene pega ye football de kwenim na nde se e academy nti e say ball na ye wo one na ba be hwe sa nkrofo no unse talent e ka say talent a e bibia obi wo ye se de ball no wo no ye pa bibia wo nipa but obi ni mi bi chie bi classroom mu ina mu ho but obi tumi ye trade a otumi hu chie obi na ye che say we de adesua na ye de wo no intankasa friend say football no future football no na nke ye hyemu kina anke benya quality players na che so ogumu no academy ana say de call under 17 and under 16 a ball ebe ball and they play 20 po mienu po tumi break and pass
Ghana player
into one eba be hwe no ne kane no silver appear ye friend say central fair kwa of Mamprobi ni ba be hwe no ye friend say we su fi Nima Polo we su ba be hwe no enti ema ye stadium no ye ma ye tumo fu light pole na kanino stadium sa ye fu light pole na and then e ko hwe ball because nipa no fi baby na obanti promo fu na obi a be hwe sa akwala no and then academy no one e ba be hwe no ya campu o mesika fon kwa na ye enti be na football be ko enim enti e football be ko enim o se mpenimfo no ko efom ne kanitete ade na ya to ache no yekofa ba na be boy football
sankofa we yenchi ora Zakaria Kobna Zach Moose great Zach Moose there I say and Regan Fiango there I must say o konso echia kaswafo Galalia Brigade tubafo nyina echia mo all right so yani ora Zakaria Kobna or football administrator and afi Regan Fiango eyen Centronia Centrodman wa ye achepa. Over the weekend, England FA Cup baso and then you Manchester United and Leicester City ball other matches ebe to dwa china no china Leyton Orient ebe chia Manchester City and the first season na hunu and Manchester United and Leicester City FA Cup and Airbus Leeds United and Millwall and Airball Leyton Orient Beshia Manchester City China Coventry City and Ipswich Everton Beshia Bournemouth Bristol North End and Wycombe Wanderers Southampton and Burnley Bebo Stoke City Asia Cardiff City Wigan Athletic Beshia Fulham Birmingham City and Newcastle United and China Brighton and Hove Albion and Chelsea the Blues Abo Sunday Blackburn Rovers Beshia Wolverhampton Wanderers Plymouth and Liverpool you will never walk alone Aston Villa Beshia Tottenham Hotspur way FA Cup matches are over the weekend war England Somebody said that Emma Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic Yadia Bena etebo Abusian de chia unyan wadru mekafo Endpoint and the diama wate Dr. Edubuaten the award-winning doctor Edubuaten Dr. Nijade ti abona baso Ghana ni wiase nyina me pacho ya de bia teteo bra Endpoint Dr. de beru amfidiem amodro ho beto ya de bia for doctor no mo wate 0244 867068 0244 867068 UTV Sports SC production team Madam Munyina say Safo Kantanka ne produce sports Abena J Boache AKB
Oh bongo why are the money ejuma pa busia for mama fast da kese e ma cute cat palo nadaroma en wesiesie meti ho ama me ho ayefesa ne eyefia dey dey me so bomode na kopie mu ho ne siesie wutiri ho programs ahodo a wokonya hairstyle ne hair bi e wo hia obenya bi e the amount of friend was 0246897589 so and a parts move for clothing and a semi atade my jeje my kiko into with me a free part 0242653361 0242653361 or Sacrament 13th udu baby a hot box abo sign one extra one no pay and a parting so ewo area adise my aha and I day a fiada premo kase nyina esie Midday o tomurusi abina chei boache mene
David Oforisafo Boom